Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. This is Julian here, and I want to wish all of you guys a happy and healthy holiday season. I hope you have a very fun Christmas and an amazing new year. This year, though, guys, is the Waiver Wire Week 11 video. And even though you're probably on holidays, on vacation for a little while, your fantasy team doesn't take vacation. There's a 3-day break for Christmas, but other than that, guys, you are still competing each and every week until your fantasy playoffs are over. So I'm here to make sure that you guys still make the right moves for this week to make sure that you take it home and give yourself an extra little present this week for the holidays. So before we get started, guys, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and do me a favor, and if you want to give me a little present for the holidays, go ahead and click that link to my Patreon in the description below and become a patron if you do want to take that support to the next level, guys. It's super cheap. It's like $3 Canadian, $2 American, and basically you pay that every month to me, and you get perks such as getting my videos access early or being able to DM me one-on-one, and I try to answer you as quickly as I can to help you with your fantasy hockey teams. Let's jump into the content now, guys, and let's take a look at the schedule for week 11. And as you can see here, guys, on Sunday, there are no games, so it's a 6-day week. So because of that, it's going to be a bit of a harder week to win because there are less games in total. So on Monday, there are 5 games, Tuesday 11, Wednesday 3, Thursday 12, Friday 4, and Saturday 14. So as you can see, guys, the busy nights, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, are very busy nights. In all likelihood, you probably can't fit players in your lineup on those nights. But just in case, go ahead and check. If you can't fit any players on those nights, you're really going to want to be prioritizing players that play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for your ads this week to try to get as many games as you can in. Let's take a look at which teams play on all 3 of those off nights, and there are 2. The Detroit Red Wings and the Winnipeg Jets. They play Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which makes for an excellent ad if you add someone from those teams. Your other options are adding players from Montreal or Seattle for the off nights because they play on 2 of the off nights, which is still pretty decent. Seattle, a little bit better than Montreal because they play consecutive off nights, Monday and Wednesday, and then Montreal plays Monday and Friday. Now, every single team this week plays 3 games at least, which is nice, but there are 2 teams that play 4 games. Those teams are Detroit and Minnesota. So if you have some good Detroit and Minnesota players like Kaprizov or DeBrincat, it's definitely going to help you with your chances of winning this week. Now, as far as bad schedules go, there's no team that has a really bad schedule this week since every team plays 3 games this week, which is great. But there are teams that play all 3 games on all 3 busy nights, so that's slightly less good of a schedule. These are the teams here: Arizona, Buffalo, Carolina, Colorado, Columbus, Nashville, New Jersey, Ottawa, San Jose, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Vancouver, and Vegas. Jumping into some forward options that you can consider grabbing for this week, and the first guy on the list is Lucas Raymond, playing on the second line with Alex DeBrincat, as well as the top power play in Detroit. Honestly, Raymond hasn't been too bad this year. It's not like he's been amazing either, but for a streamer, for a team that plays on all 3 and off nights and plays 4 total games this week, Lucas Raymond is kind of a must add. Tom Wilson's another great add this week. Obviously, Washington doesn't have an amazing off-night schedule or anything like that, but Tom Wilson is playing top line and top power play in Washington and has been really good, especially if you're in a league that counts hits as points or in general a categories league that has hits. Tom Wilson is doing really well for you right now. Lawson Krause is another guy who you can't be ignoring right now. He's never produced like this in his career, but he's scoring lots of goals and hasn't slowed down yet. So right now, it's kind of hard for me not to suggest Lawson Krause. He's a top 75 player in a lot of leagues, and for that reason alone, I kind of have to suggest him here. I do think he will probably slow down, though, at some point. Nazem Kadri, 55% rostered, is doing much better as of late. There are 3 Calgary Flames players that have really started to heat up: Kadri, Sharangovich, and Blake Coleman. Kind of funny to say that since they all play on different lines, but Kadri has been pretty good as of late. He was slumping hard early season, and I suggested him as potentially a drop until he turned things around. And now Kadri is someone that you might want to consider adding once again because he's doing much better. And then Tomas Hertl is playing on the top line and top power play with Eklund and Barabanov on that top line. And he's been doing really well as of late. That Sharks team has been scoring a lot more goals than they had earlier in the season. And as of right now, Hurdle is kind of a must-add, doing very, very well. Mikael Granlund's kind of the same thing as the other guy on San Jose that's just doing phenomenal, playing on the second line with Duclair and Zetterlund, as well as the top power play, and it's kind of hard not to want to add Granlund right now with the way that he's playing. To all my Nikolai Ehlers fans out there, he's finally living up to his potential. He's playing on the top line and top power play right now in Winnipeg, and he's playing really, really well, scoring lots of points, is making up for lost time. Based on how bad he was playing earlier in the season, it's really nice to see him having turned around. And not only that, guys, the Winnipeg Jets have all 3 off nights this week. Nikolai Ehlers is a must-add this week if he is still available somehow on your waiver wire, because he can continue a pace like this. He's that good of a player. Ivan Barbashev has turned things around, been scoring lots of points lately, still playing on the top line with Eichel and Mark Stone. It's a great line for him to be on. His peripherals aren't too bad either. Barbashev is someone that I do like quite a bit right now. I still love me some Bjorkstrand. I've had him on this list quite a few times now this year, but he's shooting the puck a lot and has been scoring goals, getting points. He's shown no sign of slowing down at all. I love Bjorkstrand, especially this week for the 2 off nights that Seattle has on Monday and Wednesday. Even if you just want to stream him for those 2 games, that's a good idea. Next is my Manscaped must-add player of the video, Chandler Stevenson. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIPPED. Say ho 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 to a well-groomed mistletoe with Manscaped. Now, why is Chandler Stevenson my Manscaped must-add player of the video? Well, for one thing, he's got 3 goals and 6 points in his last 4 games. And he's a tried and tested player, right? We know what Chandler Stevenson can deliver for us. Obviously, he was super cold for the last couple weeks, but the 2 previous years, guys, he scored 65 and 64 points respectively. This is a dude that can definitely produce, and he's getting second line deployment once again. This is someone that I have no doubt will have a great season for the rest of the year, and is definitely a very good add if you have room for a natural center. And then JT Compher of the Detroit Red Wings is now skating in Larkin's spot between Patrick Kane and Michael Rasmussen. Looks like he's finally back from that injury, and if he is, guys, he's someone that could definitely be added for those off nights this week, and he's probably going to get top power play time as well with Larkin out. The next guy on this list is Gabriel Vilardi, playing with Scheifele and Ehlers on that top line in Winnipeg, as well as a top power play. He exploded the other night for 4 points. Vilardi is someone that's super, super, super underrated right now and definitely needs to be added for those off nights that he has next week. Then we got Yegor Sharangovich playing on the top line right now in Calgary with Elias Lindholm and Andrew Mangiapane, and he has been absolutely on fire as of late. In his last 4 games, he's got 5 goals and 6 points, and he's shown no signs of stopping. He's getting plenty of ice time too, because he's getting top line deployment, and they're now giving him top power play deployment as well, which is all that he needs to be successful in fantasy. I like him a lot right now. We got Sam Lafferty, who's playing pretty well right now on the top line with Elias Pettersson and Ilya Mikheyev. As long as he's putting up points, guys, I don't mind streaming him if you're in a deeper league. Then we got Matias Maccelli getting on that second line alongside Lawson Krause, who, as I said before, is super, super hot. He's got 4 points in his last 4 games, and unlike earlier in the season and last year, the dude's actually shooting quite a bit, so the peripherals are not non-existent anymore. He's actually shooting the puck quite a bit, so the shots on goal category, not too bad. Liking Matias Maccelli a lot right now. Robbie Fabry is a bit of an interesting one, playing on the third line right now with Andrew Kopp and Daniel Sprong, but he's playing some pretty good hockey right now, putting up points seemingly almost every game. So as long as he can keep that up, guys, he's a great add for the off nights. Then we got Marco Rossi, who is no longer skating on the top line, but he is still on the second line with Matt Zuccarello, which is not a terrible place to be. And he's got 2 goals in his last 2 games. And Minnesota doesn't have a whole lot of great streaming options, but Marco Rossi, I don't mind grabbing him on a week where Minnesota plays 4 games. Alex Iafallo is playing on the second line right now in Winnipeg, and he's ice cold. So I'd only grab him if you're really in a deep league and need an off-night streamer. That's where Iafallo could come in and potentially score you a bunch of points if he decides to figure it out. Hopefully he does, because the Jets' schedule is really, really nice. Then we got Joe Veleno, who's skating between Lucas Raymond and Alex DeBrincat, and honestly has been playing pretty well as of late on a week where the Detroit Red Wings have an amazing schedule. with all those off nights, it's hard not to want to stream Joe Veleno, especially if you're in a deeper league. Then they have Vladislav Nemesnikov, who's getting on the second line between Perfetti and Iafallo. Obviously, that line has cooled down quite a bit, but for a 1% rostered guy available in 99% of leagues, the opportunity for him is pretty good this week, and those off nights are really nice. As far as defense options go, I didn't want to repeat a whole bunch of them from last week, so I have a little bit of a shorter list today. Noah Hanifin is a really good option because he's getting top power play time in Calgary and he's producing, so don't mind grabbing him. Jared Spurgeon, someone who I'm still stashing on my IR if he's available in your league. He's available in 75% of leagues. Don't know how severe his injury is right now, but if you want, while he's injured, you can go ahead and grab Brock Faber. Looks like he's the guy getting top power play time, and the dude's playing an insane amount of ice time, so he should put up some points. Jeremy Lauzon is someone that I'm looking at as well. He's putting up a ridiculous amount of hits. It looks like he's putting up 5 to 6 hits per game. And if that's something you're looking for, look no further than Jeremy Lauzon. Then Jake McCabe is on a bit of a hot streak, putting up some decent peripherals and putting up points fairly frequently. That's not going to last, but you might as well ride the hot streak while it does, though. I don't mind that ad for a short period of time. Then Zach Whitecloud's also putting up some really nice peripherals, a couple of points here and there. Whitecloud could be a short-term ad as well for you. Jumping into goalies now, and the number one guy I have on the list is Devin Levi at 53% rostered, and it's funny how it works sometimes. He was sent down to the minors, and UPL was the starter, and then UPL got sick. And then suddenly Levi gets called back up, gets a start, and plays really well. They gave him a couple more starts, and it looks like he might be sticking around in the NHL for a little while. Funny to see, but Levi is playing really well right now, and as long as he is, guys, he's going to be getting the vast majority of the starts in Buffalo. John Gibson's the same kind of thing. He's going to get the vast majority of the starts in Anaheim. He's playing decently enough. He's letting in quite a bit of goals, but he's starting all the games, which is helpful in points-based leagues specifically. Charlie Lindgren right now seems to be the starter in Washington, though Kemper still might get about half the starts. As long as Lindgren is playing better than Kemper, though, I can't imagine they're going to give Kemper more than half the starts and try to get him back to the starter, because Lindgren's playing pretty well right now. Peter Kochetkov at 41% rostered has just played a couple of really great games in a row. So as long as he's playing well, he's going to be the starter over there over Ranta. Peter Mrazek is way outplaying Arvid Soderblom this year. It's not even funny, but he's still only seeing about half the starts in Chicago. Crazy to say that, but they might have to start giving Mrazek more starts because Soderblom is not doing it for them. Then we got Joey Daccord of the Seattle Kraken. He is a must add right now. I was going to make him my Manscaped must-add player of the video, especially for points-based leagues, but I do like Chandler Stevenson quite a bit as well. Now, I like Joey Daccord because of the fact that Philip Grubauer might be dealing with a very long-term injury. We don't know too much about the injury yet, but it seems like they're preparing for it to potentially be a long-term one. So that means that Joey Daccord is suddenly the starter over there in Seattle. No more splitting with Grubauer. And then Drieger is the backup. I'm a little bit worried because Drieger is a decent backup. But Joey Daccord, as of right now, is the starting goalie in Seattle. So if you want a starting goalie that's going to get the vast majority of starts, Joey Daccord is someone you should be adding right now. Martin Jones and Ivan Prosvetov are guys that I'm taking a look at right now. They're kind of speculative guys. That's why I have them with stars right now, because they're not guys that I think are starters just yet. But their respective goalies, Samsonov and Georgiev, are kind of struggling right now. So if they continue to do so, these guys might get more looks and become the starter. As of right now, though, I'm not adding them unless you're in a really deep goalie league where you need to add guys this early to be able to get a starter later on. Dustin Wolf and Dan Vladar, or as I like to call him, Darth Vlader, they've got the opportunity right now as the split tandem in Calgary with Markstrom on IR. Neither of them are playing particularly amazing, but as soon as one of them starts to play a little bit better, they're probably going to get the majority of the starts and should be added in more leagues. Then Capo Kakinen in San Jose Shark is the lowest rostered starting goalie, gets about half the starts at the very least in San Jose, is playing some decent hockey right now. And that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed my content today, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And I want to wish you guys all a happy and healthy holidays and a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.